君と夏の終わり将来の夢大きな希望を忘れない
When it comes to the emotional spectrum, no emotion hits as hard as sadness. Anime makes us feel a lot of emotions: love, anger, hate, happiness, and similar to that. When an anime centralized around sadness is done right, it will make you watch the main character's heart shatter and ensure that your heart is shattered in the process. With that note, let's take a look at the top 10 sad and depressing romance anime.
心配しなくても大丈夫だよ。
そっか、それじゃあおばあちゃん、バイバイ。
We all know teenage love tends to be tragic, but Plastic Memories takes this truth and dial it up to its highest capacity with its story. After all, no love is as tragic as a love that is destined to fail. The protagonist of this anime, Tsukasa Mizugaki, manages to encapsulate this exact feeling. The premise of this anime has our protagonist Tsukasa failing his college entrance exams. However, after pulling some strings through his connections, he manages to net himself a job working at the Scion Artificial Intelligence Corporation, or SAI Corp for short. This corporation is famous for its creation of gifters, who are highly advanced androids that are almost identical to real humans in every way. The catch? They have a limited lifespan of 81,920 hours, which roughly translates to around 9 years and 4 months. Tsukasa was assigned to work at Terminal Service 1, which is responsible for taking care of giftiers close to their expiration date. If a giftier is not properly taken care for before its expiry date, it turns hostile. The romance in Plastic Memories finds its inception when Tsukasa was paired with a beautiful giftier named Isla for his job. Tsukasa finds himself infatuated, but as he finds out that Isla's expiry date is growing close, any romance that he dares to pursue with Isla will turn into nothing but a bittersweet memory. It's a daring premise that will have you holding onto the edge of your seats with a box of handkerchiefs by your side.
悲しいわ。とっても悲しい。
True Tears is an anime that many are claiming to be rather straightforward in its approach and fairly uncomplicated. However, its expert execution ensures that even its straightforward approach will have you tearing up by the time you reach the last episode. The premise has us following the protagonist Shirishiru Nakagami as he finds himself in the position that many people would dream to be in. Imagine living under the same roof with the girl that you have a crush on. However, his expectations come crashing down when he notices that she ends up being a completely different person when she gets home from school. While Hiromi is usually athletic, academically successful, bright as well as popular, she suddenly turns cold and distant when she returns home. The anime takes you on a vivid journey, with many other characters also entering the fray, making things even more complicated to Shinshiru. True Tears is an anime that will definitely hit you hard in the feels.
かけるもサッカーやりたいならちゃんと言いなよ。見てるから。私もかけるのこと。
If you are a fan of Kimi no Nawa, you will find yourself interested in the premise of the anime Orange as well. It's not every day that you get to see a science fiction twist in a romance anime. After all, the anime premise follows Naho Takamiya on the first day of her sophomore year of high school. However, she was greeted by a strange letter that was addressed to her as she woke up. When she noticed that the letter claimed to be from herself 10 years into the future, she definitely found it hard to believe. However, she found herself believing in the letter as some of the events that were explained within the letter actually end up taking place over time. The letter claimed that she lives a life full of regrets in her future, and she urges younger Naho to correct some of the mistakes that she had made in the past. The letter also implores younger Naho to take care of the new transfer student Kakero Naruse, and only she can ensure that Kakero will not commit suicide in the future by taking good care of him. The plot hits you with twists and turns to the point where the entire story is an emotional roller coaster for the viewer. This is one anime that should definitely be in your watch list.
お前といると嫌なこととか思い出してイライラすんだよ。
This anime is notorious for making its long-term fans cry seconds after hearing the first 5 seconds of its ending theme. Anohana, the flower we saw that day, is a masterpiece of an anime that will give you an experience that you will truly cherish for years to come in the span of 11 episodes. The premise is centralized around a group of childhood friends who grew up growing distant from one another after the untimely death of their friend Menma. However, things started to change when the spirit of Menma started to appear in front of Jinta Yadomi, who started to live as a recluse after the loss of his dear friend. While Jinta initially pays no heed to the spirit, thinking that he was simply hallucinating due to the heat and his grief, he eventually starts to accept the reality that this is indeed her spirit, as the group of friends finally come together to help lay their dead friend's spirit to rest. It's an emotional journey where each and every one of her friends end up finding closure as they explore how her loss ended up affecting each and every one of them. This is truly a special entry in our list.
すまない。お前、人間の子供だろ。
Hotarubi no Muri is a movie that expertly combines the romance genre with mystical and fantasy elements. In the premise of this anime, we end up exploring a love that is destined to fail. The premise starts off around 6-year-old Hotaru Takegawa, who finds herself lost in the ancient forest while she was visiting her uncle. In a desperate situation, she finds help in the form of a masked forest spirit named Jin. She learns that there was only one rule when it comes to spirits and humans, and that one rule is that human touch would cause the spirit to disappear due to the fragile state of magic in the human world. After the warning, Jin leads the little girl out of the forest and warns her not to return, while she promises to visit Jin again someday with a gift. Over time, Hotaru ends up making it a habit to visit Jin every summer as the two ends up being close friends. However, as romantic feelings end up stirring, their resolve is put to the test. This is truly a tragic story that covers the story of two people who should have never crossed paths, and it is expertly narrated.
Everything I felt. The world around me took on color in a way I never knew it could. The whole world began to sparkle.
This anime is universally known by anime lovers around the world as the one anime that you revisit once every 6 months if you need a good cry. The premise has us following the prodigious pianist Kusei Arima, who was making strides in the music scene. However, ever since his mother passed, Kusei found himself mysteriously losing the ability to hear the sound of his own piano. This caused Kusei to leave behind the prestigious musical career as he started living a carefree life alongside his friends. However, things change when a beautiful violinist named Kaori Miyazono enters his life and ignites his passion once more. The development of the romance within the anime is gradual, as Kosei and Kaori end up inching towards a formal relationship with each episode. But those who end up watching this anime will find out exactly why we cannot always have nice things. The journey is heart-wrenching, but it is still a highly recommended one that you should definitely watch. 5 centimeters per second is a masterpiece of a movie directed by none other than Makoto Shinkai, who received international praise for his recently released movie Kimi no Nawa. This anime tackles long-distance relationships and the reality that unveils itself as one decides to commit to one. The premise has us follow Takaki Tono and Akari Shinohara, two childhood friends that fell in love, but due to unfortunate circumstances, found themselves drifting apart from one another. The anime pulls no punches, as it showcases how Takari and Akari live their day-to-day life half-heartedly to the point where they are constantly hurting themselves, while also hurting the ones around them as well. As a piece of art created by Makoto Shinkai himself, consider checking this anime out.
びっくりした？
悪いけど遠慮するよ。
私は今日楽しかったよ。
君にとって
誰にも言ってないから。
どういうこと？
こうやって普通のことをしてるのが楽しいの。
Do not let the comedic title fool you. This anime will bring you to the opposite feeling of laughter and joy. This movie's premise has you following an aloof bookworm of a protagonist named Haruki Shiga. Haruki is a rather distant individual who keeps himself detached from the world. However, things take a turn when he discovers a handwritten book with the title Living with Dying. He later finds out that the book is a secret diary that belonged to a very beloved and popular classmate of his named Sakura Yamauchi, as she confides in him of the reality of her situation. Sakura lets Haruki know of her pancreatic disease as Haruki decides to accompany her for her remaining days, even though he was initially unempathetic to her plight. This movie shows Haruki developing new meaning in life through the limited time that he gets to spend with Sakura as feelings blossom. This tragic tale is definitely one that deserves your attention.
少佐の瞳があります。少佐の瞳と同じ色です。
Many consider watching Violet Evergarden as the equivalent of bashing your heart non-stop with a sledgehammer. This 13-episode anime is legendary for its performance and its ability to make the viewer feel destroyed by the end of it. The premise has you following Violet Evergarden, a young girl who was raised with the intent of her becoming a weapon of war. However, she found herself hospitalized with the only memory of words left from a person she held dearest within her. She found a new purpose in life when she started working as an auto-memory doll, whose job is to translate the thoughts of people into words on paper. Do give this anime a watch, but keep a tissue box nearby as well.
我が古川ベイカーズの勝利を祝して乾杯!
For an anime that is based around a visual novel, it made waves after its release as many consider it to be the most well-known sad anime out there. The prequel to Clannad Afterstory had us dealing with a rather run-in-the-mill high school romantic drama premise. However, as a direct continuation of Clannad, Clannad Afterstory has us dealing with the struggles of adulthood. The premise of this anime has us following the two protagonists Tomoya Okazaki and Nagisa Furukawa after their high school graduation. Not many slice-of-life anime will let you see the characters live their entire lives out. This anime will break your heart, period. However, if you're here to get your heart broken, might as well do so with the best. It is recommended that you watch the prequel Clannad before you move ahead with Clannad Afterstory. With that, we have reached the end of this video. Did you like our list? Do tell us in the comments below if you think any other anime deserve to be in this list. If you want to watch some happy anime after all that sadness, make sure to check my top 10 video where I rank 10 anime with happy endings. With that note, I'll be leaving and I'll see you guys in the next video.